This is James Lupton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Angel Lozano. Angel, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Thanks for coming on today. Listen, going through your social media, you sparred everybody. Who's who, really? From the big boys of like Jalalov, he looks massive against you, and all the way through to the influencers who we're going to speak about today. And we're going to start off with Logan Paul, obviously being rumored slash sort of announced by the two guys on social media that he will fight in an exhibition against Conor McGregor next year in India. Firstly, talk to me about your work with Logan Paul. Did he surprise you in any way?
Um, Definitely athletic. He was not really so much like a dangerous boxer. Nothing I haven't seen before. But he's definitely athletic. He comes from a combat background from wrestling, so he knows the physical part of it. And they put in the work. So I don't have nothing negative to say. It was fun experience for sure.
In terms of Logan, you say he puts in the work, and we've seen that with his brother Jake. Obviously, he put the work in, and he's improving over time. And obviously, he's fighting more and more. Logan's got into the sports entertainment world in WWE, as you mentioned, athletic. He has a wrestling background. Do you think that platform of sports entertainment, the exhibition with Connor, suits Logan Paul to a T?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're both very entertaining people. When it comes to like fighting or just in front of a camera. So I think this is gonna be a fun fight. They both fought Mayweather, so they both got that in common, and I think it's gonna be a good fight. Because Logan's a big boy, honestly, compared to like most of the guys. Like he doesn't look that big, but then when I met him in person, I'm like, damn, this guy's pretty big. So I think his size would definitely do something versus Connor. Um, but we'll see. I bet this is my first time even hearing about the Conor McGregor Logan Paul fight. So I think that's pretty cool that they're doing that. It's good for them.
Although it is an exhibition and there will be stipulations that probably can't go and knock each other out, they probably have to wear, heavier gloves, have to um, fight shorter rounds. But regardless of that, obviously with Connor, obviously he's a fighter. He's grown up in combat sports. He is a fighting athlete. Do you think that if Logan was to put his weight on him, was to sort of almost bully him a little bit with his size and weight, that Connor's instincts could potentially kick in and almost give him a few digs here and there?
um, Maybe I'm not too sure honestly because I mean he surprised the people with Mayweather a little bit. Connor did by landing all those shots until he got tired. But I don't know. I mean I think it's a different type of sport. Logan hasn't really boxed in even a while, so it was just like he did one exhibition versus Mayweather, and then he kind of just went into the money scene, with the WWE and all that. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where his mind's at. How much of a like if he's gonna take this serious or if he's gonna just kind of just doing it for the money real quick, because he just had a baby. So there could be a lot of different, the mindset he has to go in there with. Like, am I gonna go in there to beat Connor or am I just going in there to make this money?
Well, I mean, ultimately it's a business, isn't it? And I think this certainly has a big money driving factor
Mm-hmm.
behind it. It's apparently going to be in India. I can imagine, especially after Jake Paul's recent fight with Mike Tyson and the money they generated, Logan probably wants a piece of that pie, and that's why he's getting back into the ring
Yeah, for sure.
against a name like McGregor as well. It's only going to sell. It's going to bring so many eyes onto that fight in particular. Um, just talking about Logan and your sparring with him. Eventually didn't really surprise you, which isn't surprising as he's not a boxer. Eventually he's had a wrestling background, but he put in the work. He tried hard. Was he like away from the ring as a person? Was he welcoming to you and the sparring partners?
No, he was really, really good. Like, really, really good people. I have nothing negative to say about him. I went to his house. We were actually sparring in his backyard in Encino, and that was like one of the coolest experiences I've had. There was always like different kind of crowds there. Like different celebrities would pop up just to see it, because this was like around COVID time when like everybody was on lockdown, and then this kind of like the YouTube boxing had just started up, like so it was pretty big. Like a lot of people were interested in it, like and a lot of pros even would come with me to go spar with them, and they're just kind of doing it for the cloud to try to see who it is, and then I would see some pros actually get touched up by Logan. And I'll be like, oh damn, like and then I'm like, yeah, bro, it's not that, it's just not all fun and games. You go in there because he's Logan Paul, that you think it's gonna be easy. So I mean, I seen him definitely beat up a couple pros and shock them. So I mean, like I said, he does put in the work. He's strong.
Do you think that again, although it is just an exhibition, Conor can't overlook Logan as somebody who's not a fighter because he has got some form of ability?
I think in combat sport period, you can't ever overlook anybody. Um, I've seen it happen just even fighting in Mexico. I've seen some guys go in there and overlook their opponent because of the way he looks. He's a short, fatter guy, and then boom, these guys get knocked out in the first round or get dropped, and it's like I don't ever overlook anybody. I don't care how you look, how you walk, it's war, whoever it is.
You
So I
said
think Connor just has to definitely go in there with that kind of mindset.
you said it just makes me think of Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. You know, you look at them both on paper, look at photos of the two, who's going to win? Everybody's going to side with Anthony Joshua, but we saw what happened there.
Yeah, yeah, it happens all the time, and it's like you can't ever, even when you're on the top, you can't get comfortable up there thinking like I'm on the top, I did it, because then there's always somebody hungry right behind you. So I think you just got to keep that hunger and try to stay hungry as long as you can in the sport until you're ready to hang it up.
For you as a fighter yourself, obviously coming through, you're still in the early stages of your pro career. What do you make of this, the YouTuber fighters, the exhibitions, and seeing these guys get the amount of money they do get with very little experience and ability and potentially even talent with some of them, where you've worked hard for so long of your life to make it in the sport. Do you feel any negative towards that aspect of it?
Honestly, I don't. Like I know there's a lot of like boxers on here in the game that are like really hating on it. But for me, I started boxing at 17 years old. So I started late and just like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and all them started late, they just had a they had the platform to use to join boxing and then they ran with it. So it's like I can't be mad at somebody or hate on somebody for being able to do it. That was the path that God made for them to do. So be it. But there is a lot of fighters that take it to heart, like, oh, I worked my whole life for this. I mean, it's just not your time, or you're not taking the risk that he's taking, by believing in himself that much sometimes. So, I mean, I don't got nothing negative to say. I think it's cool. I mean, even with Jake Paul, like a lot of people give him all this stuff about him fighting these guys, but I mean, the undercards he makes are really good undercards. He puts real fighters on. He's getting them the most money I'm sure they ever made, the biggest platform they ever made. So, I don't know. I don't think it's negative. I think it's, I mean, there's always going to be pros and cons and everything, but I mean, I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good for boxing.
Absolutely. And just finally on that fight, I know again it's an exhibition, so there probably will be no winner. It may end up in a draw regardless. But in terms of the two guys, Logan Paul and Conor McGregor, who do you think will come out on top? Who will have more success?
I'm going to say Conor McGregor just because of the experience, the experience, the confidence, how long he's been doing it. But I just don't know, like I said, what kind of mindset Conor McGregor's in. Has he been partying? Has he been, acting crazy like Conor does? If he's a focused Conor, then he could be a dangerous Conor always. But I don't know. It all depends. Sometimes these guys might like, oh, I'm fighting Logan Paul. It's going to be an easy run, and then he might get surprised.